French fries. French fries are not French. They were invented in Belgium in the late 1600s when villagers along the Meuse River began frying small fish. When the river froze in winter and fish became unavailable, they cut potatoes into fish shapes and fried those instead. American soldiers stationed in Belgium during World War I encountered them, assumed they were French because the Belgian army spoke French, and brought the name home. Belgium has been correcting this mistake for over a century. Nobody is listening. McDonald's now sells more French fries every day than Belgium produces potatoes in a week.
Corn dog. The corn dog was invented at the Texas State Fair in 1942. Neil Fletcher dipped a sausage in cornmeal batter and fried it on a stick to make it portable for fairground crowds. The format solved a problem nobody had formally named: how to eat a hot dog without a plate. State fairs across America adopted it immediately. Korean corn dogs using rice flour batter and potato cube coatings went viral in the U.S. in 2020. A 1942 Texas invention inspired a Korean reinvention that lines stretched around American city blocks 80 years later.
Nashville hot chicken. Nashville hot chicken was invented in the 1930s as an act of revenge. Thornton Prince's girlfriend, furious about his late nights out, loaded his fried chicken with cayenne pepper, intending to punish him. He loved it. He built a restaurant around it. Prince's Hot Chicken Shack has been operating in Nashville ever since. The dish stayed local for 70 years until food media discovered it in the 2010s. Within 5 years, every major fast food chain in America had released a hot chicken sandwich. A revenge meal became a billion-dollar fast food category. The girlfriend has never received credit.
Fish and chips. Fish and chips was invented in Britain in the 1860s when Jewish immigrants from Portugal brought fried fish to London and local chip shops added fried potatoes alongside. The combination became the national dish of Britain and the primary food source for working-class families through 2 world wars. Winston Churchill called fish and chips good companions. British fish and chip shops outnumbered McDonald's locations in the UK for most of the 20th century. A Portuguese Jewish frying tradition combined with a British potato habit became the most consumed takeaway meal in British history.
Fried shrimp. Fried shrimp became an American staple in the 1950s when flash freezing technology made Gulf shrimp available inland for the first time. Before refrigerated shipping, shrimp was a coastal luxury. After it, shrimp baskets appeared on diner menus across the country within a decade. Long John Silver's built an entire chain around the format. The popcorn shrimp variation, bite-sized pieces fried in seasoned batter, was introduced by Red Lobster in 1974 and became one of the most ordered items in American casual dining history. Frozen shipping technology created an entire restaurant category. Fried mac and cheese bites. Fried mac and cheese bites emerged from American state fair culture in the 2000s when fair vendors began asking a simple question: what happens if we fry this? The answer, in the case of macaroni and cheese, was extremely good. Chilled mac and cheese holds its shape when breaded and fried, producing a crispy exterior and a molten interior that delivers the entire comfort food experience in a single bite. Applebee's put them on their national menu in 2010. Every casual dining chain followed. A state fair experiment became a permanent fixture on American appetizer menus within a decade.
Fried ice cream. Fried ice cream should not be possible. Ice cream melts. Frying requires heat. The solution is temperature and speed. A scoop of ice cream is frozen extremely hard, coated in a thick layer of batter or crushed cornflakes, and submerged in oil for less than 30 seconds. The exterior fries. The interior stays frozen. The contrast of hot crust and cold cream is the entire point. Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant chain popularized it in America in the 1980s. The dish has no Mexican origin, despite being served at Mexican restaurants for 40 years. It was invented for the American market and attributed to Mexico for atmosphere. Southern fried chicken. Southern fried chicken emerged from 2 separate culinary traditions that combined in the American South during the 18th and 19th centuries. Scottish immigrants brought the technique of frying chicken in fat, while West African enslaved people contributed the practice of heavily seasoning and marinating the meat before cooking. Neither tradition alone produced the dish. The combination of Scottish frying method and African spicing created what became the foundation for nearly every fried chicken style that followed. The chicken is coated in seasoned flour and fried in a cast iron pan or deep fryer until the crust sets hard and golden. It became central to Southern family culture and Sunday meals throughout the 19th century and remains the base from which Korean, Japanese, and Nashville styles all developed.
Buttermilk fried chicken is built around a single step that changes the texture of the meat entirely. The chicken soaks in buttermilk for anywhere between 2 hours and 24 hours before any flour touches it. Buttermilk is mildly acidic, and that acidity slowly breaks down the protein structures inside the muscle fibers, relaxing them and allowing the meat to hold more moisture during frying. The lactic acid also helps the flour coating grip the surface more firmly, producing a thicker and craggier crust with more texture than standard flour alone creates. The technique became widespread across American home cooking through the 20th century. Some recipes add hot sauce or pickle juice to the buttermilk soak for extra flavor and additional tenderizing. Chick-fil-A built its entire menu around this method, though the company has never confirmed the exact details of its recipe.
Onion rings. Onion rings and French fries have been competing for the same position on American menus since the 1960s, and the argument about which is better has never been resolved. The first published onion ring recipe appeared in a 1933 Crisco advertisement, making them a product of corporate food marketing rather than culinary tradition. Burger King introduced onion rings nationally in 1975, and they became the default alternative to fries at fast food chains across America. The ongoing debate about onion rings versus fries generates more passionate responses at American restaurants than most political discussions. Both sides have strong opinions. Neither side is changing their position. Crispy jalapeno poppers. Jalapeno poppers appeared on American menus in the 1980s, a halved jalapeno filled with cream cheese, battered and fried. The cream cheese exists to extinguish the heat after the crunch, pain, then relief in a single bite. That is the entire product. TGI Fridays claims to have popularized them nationally. Cream cheese companies have never properly thanked the jalapeno popper for the sales it generated. Americans consume jalapeno poppers at a rate that suggests the cream cheese and jalapeno industries are coordinating. They are not. The market just works. Sometimes the simplest idea is the most ordered item on the menu for 40 years. Mozzarella sticks. Mozzarella sticks were invented in American restaurants in the 1970s as appetizers specifically designed to be ordered while waiting for the main course. The concept of breading cheese and deep frying it produces a result where the exterior sets before the interior fully melts, creating the cheese pull effect that became the defining visual of the dish. TGI Fridays standardized the format nationally in the 1980s and distributed the recipe to their entire chain simultaneously. The cheese pull became a marketing tool before social media existed. Advertisements showing mozzarella sticks being pulled apart were among the most effective food advertisements of the 1980s. A stretching cheese visual sold more appetizers than any flavor description could. KFC did not invent fried chicken. He invented a system for cooking it quickly, consistently, and at scale, then franchised that system around the world. Sanders developed his recipe in Corbin, Kentucky in the 1930s at a roadside restaurant where he used a pressure fryer and a blend of seasoning he described as 11 herbs and spices. Pressure frying sealed moisture inside the meat while cutting cooking time from around 15 minutes to under 9. He began franchising the concept in the 1952 and by 1964 had sold the company with over 600 locations already running. KFC introduced fried chicken as a food category to countries where it had no prior tradition. In Japan, a 1974 marketing campaign positioned KFC as a Christmas meal, and the association became so strong that Japanese families now book KFC weeks in advance every December. The chain operates in over 150 countries. Scotch egg. A Scotch egg is a hard-boiled egg wrapped entirely in seasoned sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and deep fried. It was invented in 1738 by the London department store Fortnum and Mason as a portable luxury snack for wealthy travelers making long carriage journeys.
For 2 centuries, it remained a picnic food for the upper classes. Then it became a pub snack. Then it became a gastropub statement dish served with a runny yolk and artisanal mustard. Then it became a gas station snack sold in plastic packaging for under £1. The Scotch egg has traveled the entire British class system in both directions and is currently everywhere at once, being served at Michelin-starred restaurants and motorway forecourts on the same afternoon. Waffle fries. Waffle fries were invented by Chick-fil-A in the 1980s as a way to differentiate their side dish from every other fast food chain selling standard French fries. The grid pattern is created by rotating the potato 90 degrees between each slice on a specialized mandolin cutter. The increased surface area creates more crispy edges per fry than any other cut. Chick-fil-A's waffle fries became so associated with the chain that when competitors tried releasing their own versions, customers consistently described them as Chick-fil-A fries regardless of where they were purchased. A cutting technique became a brand identity.
Chicken tempura. Tempura is a Japanese frying technique introduced to Japan by Portuguese missionaries and traders in the 16th century. The word tempura comes from the Latin tempora, referring to the ember days when Catholics abstained from meat and ate fried fish and vegetables instead. Japanese cooks adopted the technique, refined it over centuries, and created a lighter, more delicate batter than any European frying tradition had produced. Chicken tempura applies this technique to chicken, producing a crust so thin it is almost translucent. Japanese tempura batter is kept ice cold during preparation because the cold temperature inhibits gluten development, keeping the coating light. A Portuguese Catholic fasting tradition, filtered through Japanese culinary precision, created one of the most technically demanding frying techniques in the world.
Blooming onion. The blooming onion was invented by Outback Steakhouse in 1988 and has never left the menu because it cannot leave the menu. Removing it would cause a customer revolt. A single whole onion is cut into over 100 petals without separating the base, battered and deep fried until it opens like a flower. One blooming onion contains over 1,900 calories before the dipping sauce. The dipping sauce adds another 200. Outback sells approximately 40 million blooming onions per year. Food critics have called it excessive, nutritionally irresponsible, and completely impossible to stop eating once started. All 3 descriptions are accurate simultaneously.